There's a whole debate as to whether leaders are born or made. Those who argue that leaders are born say that the natural attributes of the individual is what predisposes him to be picked as a leader and then helps him to do a good job in leading. And it implies there isn't much you can do if somebody doesn't have those attributes. If you make him a leader, it will bring disaster to your team, to your organization, to your country. So for them, the emphasis is your natural attributes, the inborn attributes that make you a leader. Leaders are born, not made. There's another group of people who say leaders are made. Anybody can become a leader. Train him, equip him, and he'll lead you well. For them, the issue is not the natural attributes. It is competence trained into someone that will help him to become a good leader. Because leaders are made, leaders are trained, leaders come up in life not from their natural attributes. And when they emphasize that, they feel you can pick anybody and turn him into a good leader if you prepare him well. Which one are you part of? I think neither those who say leaders are made, not born, and those who say leaders are born, not made, none of them will be able to prove that the other one is not right. When you go through the scriptures, you see many people born leaders. Moses, right from birth, is being treated specially. When every other boy is being killed, God saves him. The mother is wiser than average. Other women were not doing that. So you can see right from birth. And he turned out to be a great, great leader. But at the same time, Moses God places him where he can get proper training in leadership. He becomes a prince in the great superpower called Egypt. So he gets proper training in leadership, being prepared as a prince to operate as a leader in the land of Egypt. So, true, Moses turned out to be a wonderful leader, and it's clear part of it is because he is born a leader. Right from birth, he's being treated specially. But number two, he certainly had training. And of all that training, the hardest of the training was 40 years in the desert as a shepherd in difficulties and challenges. Because he was going to lead the people of Israel through that same desert. God gave him a taste of it. Yes, for Moses, he was both born and made into leadership. So I think it will be very, very important then, once we understand that leaders are born and made, when choosing who should lead, we must look at his natural attributes because it will be important. They contribute. Don't put somebody who cannot communicate into leadership. And that communication is not because he's refusing to communicate. He is unable to communicate. He is unable to string a few sentences together that make sense. There are many other good things he can do. He may be very wealthy out of trading or whatever. but he is unable to communicate. And communication is one of the important attributes in leadership. Now, if you are the one with the job of selecting commissioners or CEOs, whatever, you'd be wise to check what their natural attributes are. Because even if you are going to give them training later, if they have no natural attribute, it will be a very uphill task. So just check what are the natural attributes somebody has, and how can they relate to the leadership role for which you are recruiting. Don't just allow everybody to become the pastor. Is that his calling? Does he have the inborn, calling from within before you start training him? But then, if you know leaders are born and leaders are made, then you make sure that there's a mentoring program for future leaders, a way of preparing leaders who will replace you. You look at the ones with natural attributes, then you actually invest in them. If your son is going to take over your company, set him for his MBA, Master in Business Administration. Will give him some competencies that are going to help him to lead business. So we need to have a place for training and mentoring, theoretical training and on-the-job training, one with the other. On-the-job training has its own weaknesses, because if whoever you are working under, all his idiosyncrasies will be part of you because you will take them. But if you have gone through a theoretical training in leadership, the teacher stands off and tells you about various leaders, their weaknesses and their strengths. So you're able to see. When you finally see it with your mentor, you are able to tell. It's not good to just go for natural attributes. You must also ask, has this one person gone through theoretical training in addition to on-the-job training to prepare him for the leadership role which you want him to enter into for the good governance of your organization, of your country, of your family, of your NGO. Let's go back to Egypt and see how the leadership is going. Look at Genesis chapter 41, verse 33. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. So Pharaoh asked them, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom the Spirit of God, in whom is the Spirit of God? So Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. So you can see Pharaoh has taken the advice of Joseph, that the person who run these 14 years that could bring Egypt to ruin must be a discerning person, must be a wise person. But Pharaoh adds a very important thing. If he is really going to be a success through this crisis, he must be the kind of a person in whom is the Spirit of God. In whom is the Spirit of God. That's one of the things we lack as we choose leaders. We see them discerning, we see them wise, And we can see these are people who have no fear of God at all. And because of their competence and their natural attributes, we decide this is the one who is going to become our president. We'll be in trouble. We decide this is the one who is going to lead our church. We'll be in trouble. So I think it is important to take this advice that the persons we ask to lead us must be people in whom the Spirit of God is. Because then you are assured it will not just be human discerning, human wisdom. The same God who showed Jacob what would come would be involved in the life of this leader, and you give him the vision. You know, one of the most important role of a leader comes out of the dimension of leadership. A leader is the one who leads the people to a desired destination. But how is he going to lead them to the desired destination if he himself hasn't seen it? If he himself hasn't fathomed what it is all about? So vision casting is a critical component of any leadership. Now, unfortunately, we don't know tomorrow. Only God does. We imagine it, but don't know it. But if God is in you, it means He will give you not just human discernment, but the ability to see the very far future. So you are able to lead their people now with the clarity of where they are going. That's how they'll become good leaders. That's why the issue of the fear of God is not a secondary issue. If you are electing a leader, if you're appointing a leader, you must avoid at all costs anybody who has no fear of God. Even with a good constitution, he could turn against it. And before you are able to get rid of him, you have ruined your church or ruined your country or ruined your business. So what have we learned? That leaders, yes, are a necessity in any group. But then it is important that people become leaders. Do not become because they are wealthy. A lot of churches do that. If they have a wealthy member, he soon becomes the chairman of the development committee. No. If you are to follow the example, given the information Jacob was given by God, whoever can succeed must be somebody discerning. He must be wise. And one item was added, God must dwell in him. Then he will be a success. That's why they turned around and said, with that job description, we don't know anybody else who fits that bill. All Egyptians, none could fit that bill. This foreigner, this slave, this prisoner has everything. So one day he's a prisoner. Later in the afternoon, he's the prime minister of Egypt. Because he had the attributes that could make for leadership. And sure enough, he performed well for the benefit of Pharaoh and his people. So may we be wise enough not to want leadership when you don't have these three things, and not to push somebody into leadership who doesn't have those three things. And especially that God may dwell in every leader so they're able to see the future still today.